So how much of what I was exploring isn't from the time these things were built? How much of humans changed these sites over the course of history, misleading all of us in our understanding? How many changes were new from the last 50 to 100 years? And how many came from even before then, added to by the ancients who engaged in our own version of archaeology? Reconstructing sites isn't something that's new. This has been going on for thousands of years. But what we're seeing today is a bit different. There's a motive behind it. These places that saved my life, were they really what I was seeing, or had they been manipulated for me to fall in love with them? So the thing I had found that had given me so much joy, a sense of purpose and happiness, was all a lie? And I really had to ask myself that question. But more than that, I had to go see for myself with new eyes. And it just so happened I already had a scouting trip planned for an upcoming tour to probably the most noteworthy site on the planet at the moment for looking into this, Göbekli Tepe. So Turkey was a whole thing. I was going with Nikiana Jones and her husband Joaquin, and then Jimmy Corsetti joined us. And Jimmy had been bringing attention to the olive trees on site that had been planted there years ago over the ruins and putting pressure on the heads of the site to remove the trees. Now, we just happened to get there the very day they finally decided to remove the trees. It was blind luck, but great to be able to film this in real time as it was happening. This was important and necessary. But while the tree should have been the main focus for me, I couldn't get past the steel columns from the roofing system that were piercing directly into the heart of the site. Understanding the type of project this would be to install with cranes, digging with heavy equipment, the amount of workers needed in the site, and all the concrete and more that was probably used to secure these in place, it really had me worried. So, I worked in construction before, and you can't just put a pole in like that. These are massive steel beams that would need to be supported by a crane that you would drive over a site that we were just bitching about trees being on, right? And then if you look down here on the left where the poles go all the way around the site, they're in the site. So how many workers were down here guiding these steep steel poles in from a crane that was lowering it down? And how many jackhammers were used to go through the bedrock, to dig holes that probably had to go down 20 feet to anchor this in, to be able to support a massive roofing system that's in the dozens of tons? Not to mention the walkway. After having spent quite a bit of time now at this point thinking back on all the work I'd seen at sites around the world, analyzing all my footage and understanding reconstruction processes at these sites involving construction crews and day laborers, this didn't seem good, especially if what I was noticing was a pattern everywhere. The next site we visited, Karahan Tepe, provided more evidence of what had me concerned, as the roofing system at this site was in the beginning phase of being installed, with dozens of massive holes dug out directly into the site as well. And you can go watch all this in my videos. I got full videos out on all this. I was becoming a bit depressed about things at this point. A veil had fully lifted and I'd seen behind the curtain. I felt I now had to reevaluate in my mind the countless numbers of sites I had visited all around the world. It really stole the joy from me for a bit. When I got home, I got straight to work. I compiled everything I could find from my travels that would help to understand this all better and have a clear picture.